So the Lakers look freaking awesome. Annihilated the Clippers tonight. Game is not over as I record this, but a 120-93 lead with less than 2 minutes left in the game as I start recording this video. Just a overall annihilation at the hands of the Lakers, and they look energized and ready to compete at an extremely high level. And I'm really excited to watch this team play because obviously massive Luka Doncic fan. I am going to be rooting for the Lakers. Absolutely. Thinking I'm definitely splitting my time as a Mavs fan versus a Lakers fan and rooting for both teams, but really excited for sure to watch this Lakers teams play. And honestly, the biggest concern with this team, I think with the addition of Luka Doncic, is going to be the defensive end of the court. And I think they've made some moves this season and that are really going to enable them to still be very solid defensively. They were playing elite level defensive basketball over the past really month plus at this point, really since about mid-December. So about a month and a half, they've been playing at an extremely high defensive level. And while losing Anthony Davis obviously is going to cause the defense to take a hit, as is losing Max Christie, I think they have enough overall to maintain a pretty high level defense, and offensively, they're going to be terrifying. I mean, I just think a three-headed monster of Luka Doncic, LeBron James, and Austin Reeves, good luck getting stops, especially when they're going to be running a lot of these like 5-out spacing type lineups, I think, down the stretch in this season, just because I do think it's probably unlikely. I could be wrong, but as I record this video, it doesn't seem as though the Lakers are really searching to add a big right now. And I think while I'm sure they'd love to, it's a good chance it'll be the offseason before they add another big, which means the center rotation really kind of might look like Jackson Hayes and not much else. We'll see if Maxi Kleber comes back at some point this season. He wasn't good in Dallas. Will he play a role in the Lakers? I'm not totally sure, but they don't really have much by way of bigs whatsoever outside of Jackson Hayes, who certainly can be hit or miss. But I will say this, Luka elevates big men, and Jackson Hayes is a big athletic rim running big. Luka loves himself some big athletic rim running bigs. Look at Derek Lively. And I'm not saying Jackson Hayes is Derek Lively, but I am saying Luka's the type of player who elevates his big men. And I think Jackson Hayes really could be playing some inspired basketball defensively and on the offensive end as well, just getting some of the easiest looks he's ever had because of playing with a guy like Luka Doncic. The spacing on this team really is pretty darn high level at this point. I mean, Luka obviously an incredible shot creator and shot maker in his own right. Austin Reeves having another amazing season, had a really efficient 20 points, 9 assists, 6 rebounds tonight. LeBron in 31 minutes goes 26 points, 9 assists, 8 rebounds, 3 steals, 8 of 13, 2 of 4 from 3. Dorian Finney-Smith and Jared Vanderbilt, despite not scoring the ball a lot, are guys who are really coming in and making an impact on the defensive end of the court as well. And I mean, the Lakers were just flying around defensively tonight. They deserve a ton of credit for their defensive effort and intensity. And I think JJ Redick has got himself a squad, man. Like, are they going to struggle if they get matched up against Denver? Absolutely they are. Nikola Jokic is not somebody that they have the ability to effectively match up with. But I think, number one, they're going to be one of the very best offenses in basketball, if not arguably the best offense in basketball. When you put two guys like LeBron James and Luka Doncic together, the results are going to be awesome. I mean, it might take them a little bit of time to mesh, but for guys who are that skilled, that versatile, and that unselfish, it's going to be one of the more, I think, enjoyable offenses to watch that we've probably ever seen. And when you add in a third scoring co-star like an Austin Reeves, that becomes just a terrifying set of weapons to try to reckon with for a defense. And especially when they're going to have real spacing. I mean, they're going to have the ability to play these 5-out lineups because guys like Dorian Finney-Smith, guys like Jared Vanderbilt are willing to play that small ball 5. LeBron, obviously, when he's locked in defensively, can still be impactful in his own right and is a big physical defensive player, elite level rebounder. Now, obviously, he's been one of the worst defenders in the league for a couple of years now, the majority of the time. But I think, number one, he's probably reinvigorated by the opportunity to play with a guy like Luka Doncic, first and foremost. I mean, if that's not going to get you hyped on the defensive end of the court, I don't know what will. And I do think that that will have a positive effect, without a doubt, on LeBron on the defensive end of the court. But just in general, it's going to be a blast to watch this team. And I'm just really excited as a huge Luka fan to see how these dudes mesh. It may not be perfect. It may not happen immediately, but we're about a week away from seeing the debut of Luka Doncic in Los Angeles. And when you combine that with a team that legitimately is shooting the ball at a really high level across the board, Reeves is having another great year, averaging 18 and 6. LeBron is playing like a 30-year-old, even though he's 40. 24, 9, and 7.5 rebounds a game on 38% from three. Has really become a high-level shooter these last couple of years from the three-point line. And obviously the loss of Anthony Davis hurts you on both ends of the court, but I think Luka Doncic can absolutely come in and replace that offensive production without a doubt and more. I mean, the offensive mastery that he has across the board is incredibly hard to really reckon with, of course, but the biggest concern is going to be that defensive end of the court, and tonight is a very encouraging step towards that. Dorian Finney-Smith is shooting 43% from three so far as a Laker, and that's about in line with what he was shooting in Brooklyn as well. Another guy who's going to be probably close to 40% from three. Gabe Vincent started the season terribly, but even him as a defensive point guard coming off the bench, a guy who's going to get some minutes as a defensive guard. If he can shoot close to 35% from three, which he has for the last month or two, he can be an impact guy who's a valuable rotation player. And look, Jackson Hayes, for his flaws, and he does have them, he is a highly efficient finisher around the rim, super athletic, great dunker. And you know who loves to throw lobs to his bigs? Luka Doncic. I mean, that is a match made in heaven for Jackson Hayes, and I think he's probably going to have about the easiest opportunities that he's ever had in his life. And like, yes, is it a perfect roster? No. Is it a championship contending roster? I think the answer is yes. Is it a championship winning roster? If I had to bet right now, I would say the answer is no. I do not think they are quite ready to win a championship now. Who knows, as I record this video at 11:21 p.m. Central Time on February 4th, who knows if they're going to make a move before the deadline. They got almost 2 full days to do that. So we'll see if they make a move to try to upgrade the roster for this season. And again, LeBron is 40 years old. It's not like you have forever and ever to, despite the way he's playing, you don't have forever and ever to try to build the perfect team and the perfect roster for LeBron. So I think there is a certain amount of initiative that has to be taken, I guess I should say, to try to win as quickly as possible, obviously. But they're set up for their future in an incredible way. I mean, between Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic, that is a high-level guard duo if they do decide to hold on to Reeves. Luka is obviously the face of the franchise and one of the faces of the league, and I think will probably become, in all honesty, maybe the face of the league. Now, as a member of the Lakers, will get more media attention than he ever has, and probably more credit than he ever has as well, which, I mean, it's the honest truth. He plays in LA, like that's what's going to happen. And look, at the end of the day, like this team's great. They've won 8 of their last 10 games. They're playing really high level basketball. They've won, I think, 9 of their last 11 games at this point, because this doesn't even factor in tonight's game yet, which it puts them at 29-19, but it hasn't been updated on the standings as of yet. And I mean, this is a team, again, they were struggling to start the season. They were poor defensively. They're one of the worst defensive teams in the league, and they were 13-12 since that point, 16-7. And again, winners of 9 of their last 11. Like, this is a scary team that has a very high ceiling, especially on the offensive end of the court, and is absolutely demonstrating that in their first game tonight after the trade. And again, it ain't going to be long before we see Luka Doncic on the court, and this team is going to start looking, I think, pretty terrifying. And again, they're only 2.5 games out of the 3 seed. Anything can happen. Like, they could be looking at home court advantage for the first and maybe even second round of the playoffs. We still have a lot of basketball to play here in the regular season. They've played 48 games. That means they got 34 more. A lot of things can change. I hope y'all did enjoy the video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more NBA content very, very soon, and I appreciate y'all. Peace.